U.S. President Barack Obama has said that he would take action against Russia for intervening in the U.S. presidential election. Obama told local media that the U.S. will act at a time and place of its own choice. He says he's made Russian President Vladimir Putin aware of his feelings. Earlier, the White House suggested that Putin personally authorized cyber attacks during the November polls.
We believe, based on the scope and sensitivity of these efforts, that only Russia's senior-most officials could have authorized these activities. That is a statement from the intelligence community that was made public on October 7th. When I read that statement for the first time in early October, I didn't think it was particularly subtle.
I think there is no doubt that when any foreign government tries to impact the integrity of our elections, that we need to take action, and we will, at a time and place of our own choosing.
Vladimir Putin was personally involved in the Russian attempt to disrupt the U.S. election. A high-level intelligence official tells NBC News Putin's role was directing the use of the hacked material.
Intelligence sources tell us that this type of operation could not have happened without Vladimir Putin's blessing.
Blessing, ladies and gentlemen.
Meantime, a new Fox News poll finds a big majority of Americans, 59%, don't think Russian meddling had any effect on the election. I'll bet Governor Mike Huckabee has something to say about all this.
Look, I'm just totally stunned by the fact that Josh Earnest would say that. First of all, Donald Trump said what he did sarcastically by saying maybe maybe Putin can get those 33,000 deleted emails. That's what he was saying. It was a joke, and everybody got the joke except the humorless people in the White House. Secondly, you know who did know about this in advance? President Obama. Yeah. He knew about this in September of 2015. What did he do about it? Nothing. This is such a non-story. It is absolutely something the Democrats are using to try to discredit the validity of Donald Trump's election.
Electoral college voters around the country reporting they are being harassed with a barrage of emails, phone calls, letters. They're saying even death threats to not vote for Donald Trump and block him from being officially voted in as president on Monday. We had Michigan elector, he's Mike Benarian, he's with the Electoral College. He told us about his harassment yesterday. Watch.
I've been inundated with hundreds and hundreds of letters to my house, Facebook messages, and some of those messages were death threats. I've had people threatening to put a bullet in the back of my mouth, people saying to throw myself in front of a bus, sending me pictures of a noose, saying if I don't do the right thing that they'll get me. So it's just been a very divisive, angry-filled messaging that I've gotten from people who want me to change my vote and just can't accept the results of the election.
Well, blaming the Russians is not a uniquely American phenomenon. Brexit is now being pinned on Russian interference. Here is the Member of Parliament from the Labour Party, Ben Bradshaw, the leading campaigner for Britain's Remain group, explaining his views. Watch.
When will we realize that Russia's strategy is to weaken and divide the free world, and that driving the biggest refugee flows into Europe since World War II is a deliberate part of that plan? And when will we admit that what Putin can't achieve militarily, he is already achieving using cyber and propaganda warfare? I don't think we have even begun to wake up to what Russia is doing when it comes to cyber warfare. Not only their interference, now proven in the American presidential campaign, probably in our own referendum last year. We don't have the evidence for that yet, but I think it's highly probable.
On Thursday, Facebook Incorporated said that it will roll out a number of new tools to prevent fake news stories from spreading on the social media network. The company will make it easier for users to flag fake articles on their news feeds. Facebook has said that it will also work with organizations such as fact-checking website Snopes, ABC News, and the Associated Press to check the authenticity of stories. Facebook said that if the fact-checking organizations identify a story as fake, it will get flagged as disputed. This way, the disputed stories will appear lower in its news feed, adding that once a story is flagged, it cannot be promoted. This may be a result after the social media company faced severe criticism for failing to stop fake news articles during the U.S. presidential election.
I hope we enlighten you of what the real story and evidence is all about regarding this fake birth certificate.
After 5 years of intense investigation, which included consultation with one of America's most respected forensic doctors,
the evidence noted herein is clear and convincing proof that the Obama Certificate of Live Birth, posted on whitehouse.gov on April 27, 2011, is a fraudulently manufactured document.
5 years ago, I said one thing: show us the microfiche, show us the birth certificate, then we'll all go home.
And just to be clear, I know where my birth certificate is, but a lot of people don't. I think it's still up on a website somewhere. You remember that? That was crazy.
So I plan on turning over this investigation this month to the federal government and Congress.
Now a Texas university suggesting we take the word holiday, out of holiday party. This is happening at Texas Women's University. They put out a paper recommending that people call their December gathering, quote, an end of semester party instead, saying not everyone has a holiday to celebrate in the month of December. Therefore, the word holiday, well, it could be offensive and not apply to them.
Well, you know, again, this is a direct attack against Christmas, against the American tradition of the American holiday. I mean, this is why Donald Trump is the next president of the United States of America, because Americans are tired of our American culture being stripped away piece by piece and not being allowed in the American public. I mean, this is America. We can't be everything for everybody. We do have an American culture, an American tradition, and it should be upheld. But the fact of the matter is, we're losing our identity in America.
A Catholic chaplain has canceled an outdoor nativity scene in northern Italy. The church shares a corner with a cemetery reserved for Muslim graves. Father Sante Braghi was afraid that the nativity scene would be disrespectful next to a gravesite of a different religion. He said, a crib positioned within sight of them could be seen as a lack of respect for followers of other faiths, hurt the sensibilities of Muslims, as well as Indians and even atheists. Father Oresti Mori disagrees and thinks the parish should continue the tradition. There is no word as to if the nativity scene will be moved inside, following most other parish traditions. The Muslim community in the area has also not made a statement on the matter.
After years of debate, authorities in the United Kingdom have approved mitochondrial replacement therapy, a new type of assisted reproduction that could allow some families to avoid passing on genetic diseases. The controversial technique combines the genetic material from 3 people. The decision today by the Human Fertilization and Embryology Authority will allow clinics in the UK to apply for a license to treat patients with the technique. Doug Turnbull, who helped lead the research, said in a statement that he and his team will be aiming to treat up to 25 selected patients a year with the mitochondrial donation technique as a clinical risk reduction treatment. We will also provide long-term follow-up of any children born.
Yo lo entregué a ellos, a esa familia, porque había momentos que nosotros pasábamos hasta 2 días aquí sin comer. No es tanto uno porque uno aguanta, pero los niños, entonces, el más chiquito me pedía, la otra también me pedía. Que yo no lo había hecho por un mal, que ellas tenían que aguantarse ahí, porque cuando yo tuviera posición mejor que con la que vivo, yo los volví a traer a la casa, pero por los momentos no puedo. En verdad no puedo, pues si consigo para uno, no consigo para el otro.
South Korea's bird flu alert is at its highest level for the first time ever, as officials warn that an outbreak of the virus has spread to birds nationwide.
This virus appears to be more highly pathogenic and is spreading more quickly than in 2014.
Authorities have been ramping up quarantine measures since the virus flared up last month. They've banned movement of all poultry and killed and buried 16 million birds. That's about 12% of the total population. The country was already on edge about food safety after 2 other outbreaks earlier this year. One a different strain of bird flu, the other foot and mouth disease in pigs. So far, this latest outbreak hasn't spread to humans in South Korea, but if it does, it could pose a serious threat. This same type of bird flu has killed 6 people in China in the past 2 years.
The Environmental Protection Agency has released its final report on hydraulic fracturing, or fracking. The result? The EPA found fracking can impact drinking water under some circumstances, contradicting a statement made in a draft report last year that had fracking advocates celebrating.
The biggest takeaway from the Environmental Protection Agency's report on hydraulic fracturing is that the practice can impact drinking water at every stage. This finding is in direct conflict to a statement made in its draft report in June of last year that had shocked environmentalists and elated the energy industry. The 2015 draft report said we did not find evidence that these mechanisms, the fracking mechanisms, have led to widespread systematic impacts on drinking water resources in the United States. In the final report, that sentence was scrapped. EPA Science Advisor Thomas Burke said EPA scientists chose not to include that sentence because they concluded it could not be quantitatively supported. Founder and CEO of EcoWatch, Stephanie Spear, is pleased with the change.
We have a long road ahead of us. We need individuals to get engaged and educated on these issues that impact their own health and their community's health.
Next tonight, first there was Flint, now another American city in the news, and this question: what is in the water? In Corpus Christi, Texas, they now fear a chemical spill has contaminated the water, and here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Frustration tonight in Corpus Christi, Texas. Schools closed, lines wrapping around buildings. People waiting for hours just to buy this, water.
I can't boil the water. That's how bad it is. I think it's ridiculous.
Authorities warning the more than 300,000 people not to bathe or drink their tap water after a chemical used in asphalt may have contaminated the city's water supply.
The city is requesting state assistance.
Protesters interrupting city officials. Since July of 2015, the city has had 3 boil water notices following other incidents of contamination. And Corpus Christi not alone. Problems with keeping the nation's drinking water supply clean was highlighted in Flint, Michigan, where a state of emergency was declared after residents didn't have clean drinking water for years.
David, they're shipping in 100,000 cases of water, and each family only allowed 2 cases. In the meantime, testing continues on the city's water supply.
Uber is pushing ahead with its testing of autonomous cars despite strong opposition from the state of California. On Wednesday, Uber announced that San Francisco residents could now hail a handful of autonomous vehicles within city limits, expanding on its tests in Pittsburgh. Later in the day, California's Department of Motor Vehicles told Uber in a strongly worded letter that, quote, "It is illegal for the company to operate its self-driving vehicles on public roads until it receives an autonomous vehicle testing permit." An Uber spokesman didn't have immediate comment on the DMV letter. However, on Tuesday, during a presentation with journalists, an Uber director said, quote, "Based on how the car is operating and used, we feel strongly the car is not an autonomous vehicle." The fight was further magnified when this footage was uploaded to the internet by a San Francisco taxi driver. It appears to show one of the self-driving Uber cars running a red light. Other people also reported online seeing the Uber vehicles lurching through intersections. The San Francisco Bay Area is set to become the focal point for autonomous vehicles, where other companies including Google, Lyft and Tesla are also working on autonomous vehicle projects.
So the first thing you'll notice when you come into Eatsa is that there is no cashier. There's nobody there to take your order. Instead, you just get a big menu for you to select from, and then a whole wall of iPads that you can choose to use and put your order in. So to start, I'll swipe my credit card, and I'll get another look at the menu. So I could choose from the pre-made selections or build my own. So I'm going to go with the smokehouse salad, their first one. Seems like a good choice. I can check out more details about the calories and protein. You can even get even more nutritional information, how it's served, if it's good for dairy or gluten allergies, and I can even customize it if I want. But I'm going to keep it with most of the same stuff. And then I can go to checkout, I'll see my whole order. I can choose to get an email receipt. So now we wait. If you see these graphics behind me, they're actually clear LCD screens, so the graphics are showing up right on the door. There's no projection. So once your order is ready, your number will appear up in the top board. The screen will go dark for just a second so you don't see the actual food being placed in the cubby, and then you'll see your name right on the cubby itself so you know exactly which one to pick. Okay, that was futuristic.
The first day the Pay It Forward program kind of started was when a gentleman walked in and he asked if a homeless person ever came in short, and he offered to pre-purchase a slice of pizza for the next homeless person. So he gave me $1. I ran out, got Post-it notes, put one up on a wall behind the register, told more people about it. Eventually, a couple days later, a homeless person came in. He had like 65 cents on him. And we told him to just keep the change. It was already paid for. He redeemed one of the pre-purchased slices. So now we've given away almost 10,000 slices of pizza.
I feel, well, welcome. I feel like, like I almost bought the slice, but I know I didn't.
I try to donate at least like $5 a week, and it's so funny because today I left my wallet and everything home, and I have 78 cents in my pocket, and I just came out, I was like, I'm a little short. They were like, okay, don't worry about it, and that's a really great feeling, so I can imagine how the homeless people feel.
We don't always have a chance to come in and get fresh, hot food whenever we can. And for people to donate money, towards slices of pizza for us, really made a change in Philadelphia.
In a city with a poverty rate that is higher than all other big cities comparable to it, to see such a show of compassion and brotherly love is really inspiring.
I think it's pretty cool how powerful something this kind of small and simple can be.